Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Liga Europe for a brand new season, brand new event. Is season 1 of the Endure League, and going to be taking you through the action tonight is myself. I've been Mike, and I've been joined in the commentary booth by RJDW. How are you doing, RJ?
I'm doing good, thank you. Welcome everyone. Very excited for this this new Endure League that LOE have set up, and I just can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, round number 1 tonight, we go to the deserts of Bahrain, and a very intriguing prospect here tonight. Obviously, with the Endure League, it is 100% race. We will have the short qualifying as normal, but we have 100% race. Every single driver can pick up points as long as they finish the race, and it's going to be incredibly interesting. Also, realistic car performance as well. So the Williams is going to be as slow as the base Williams, and Mercedes is going to be as fast as the base Mercedes. Mixed grid, we got the quicker drivers in the higher tiers of Liga Europe in the slower cars, so it's going to kind of balance the field, and it's going to make things incredibly interesting as we go through the season. But we got 19 drivers here tonight. We just got into qualifying. Any names that you think is gonna pop out and maybe do a madness?
I do think he's in the Mercedes, but I think Pharrell Fury. Obviously, the list of teams and drivers for this race has been based off the divisions, and Pharrell Fury he isn't in the F1 side of things, and I think he's on the faster side, so he could be one to watch out, especially for the win later in the race. Other than that, maybe Montana's always one to watch out for, even though he's in the Haas. You just never know. He could win this race. He is just that quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just go through the grid. So in the Mercedes, we got Pharrell Fury, and we got Marty in Division 4. I race him on the Saturdays in Division 4. Very decent driver. He does tend to get into a lot of situations which stops him getting as many points as he probably deserves on pace. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he gets on here. In the Red Bulls, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Ibo. And let's be fair, Ibo's winning this championship. Like, it's how could you bet against him? And his teammate is Energetics alongside. In the McLarens, now this is going to be a very intriguing pairing of Noel Luigi and Luco 5. I'm very excited to see who's going to come out on top of that, as we got our first driver starting his flying lap, and there's going to be QVR Campbell, so we're going to go on board with him as I continue through the lineup. In the Aston Martins, we got Relentless Nolan and Relentless Car Mendelis, and see 2 Division 2 drivers. It's a pretty decent car, the Aston Martin. It's not exactly going to be all the way towards the back end like a Williams or a Haas, but it's going to be interesting to see what they can do in that car. And in the Alpines, Killer Blue and XL Larkin, so that's also another intriguing pairing. In the Ferraris, Relentless Passe and DTR Brent, who are both here tonight, thankfully. In the Alpha Tauris, we have Old School 3000, who does love a bit of Bahrain, as we know in past seasons here in Liga Europe. And we got Rickarich, his teammate alongside him. And in the Alfa Romeos, we got Dylan and Rocco. The Haasids, we got Montana and Justas, and that's going to be a tasty pairing as well. And in the Williams, we have QVR Campbell alongside QVR Verstappen, as we come through the final corner now with QVR Campbell, and we're going to see what the first time is going to be. He is on the medium tyres, So let's see, and it's going to be a 29-1, and it's immediately beaten by Nolan on a 27-1.
Yeah, I was watching Nolan for that lap. Didn't put a foot wrong for that lap. Pretty solid lap, especially you'd expect the times to be a lot further down from where they were in the normal F-side with the equal cars. But that's a pretty good lap. 8 tenths ahead of the Alfa Romeo of Dylan at this point on provisional pole position.
Yeah, and the name that you mentioned, keep an eye on, Foul Fury, in third at the moment, but the faster of the medium runners as Rick jumps up into third, displacing him by just over 300ths of a second.
Yeah, and that's a good lap from Rick. And that's actually a very good lap from Luke, who goes up to third on the medium tyres, ahead of the Mercedes. And as I was saying, Rick, decent lap in the AlphaTauri. Just think there might be a bit more time there if you can find it. But for a first lap of the session, getting used to the realistic performance of these cars, that's pretty good all round.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, with the realistic performance, it's going to be interesting to see any changes to the setups that these guys would have had, because obviously in the equal performance they're able to tailor the setups to get the most lap time possible, but those setups may not necessarily work with the base performance of these cars in realistic terms. So we'll see with the likes of Haas and Williams maybe not having the downforce to really attack as you would have hoped with the setup you would have used in a equal performing car. It's going to be interesting to see if they've added wing, making them slow in a straight line to help in sector 2 with the downforces, or whether they've taken wing off to increase the top speed.
Yeah, and it is going to make the guys and girls in the top couple of cars lives a bit easier each week. The setup should be a lot more transferable, especially with the Mercedes and the Red Bull having very good straight line speed anyway, and the best downforce on the grid. So it makes their lives a lot easier, and anyone towards the back, which is going to be the top guys in the championship, it makes their life a lot harder, and a bit more work has to go into it to find the right setup for those cars.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're going to go on board with Nolan Luigi for this flying lap as he got DRS wide open on the run down into turn 1, braking just before the 100-meter board. It's a nice tight line through turn 1. Probably not as smooth as he would have liked in turns 2, slightly compromised him for turn 3, but doesn't look too bad as he comes through turn 4. A bit of a back end snap there, but purple in the first sector as we go through the SS, now down into the hairpin of turn 8. Lovely stuff. He does have a little bit of traffic at the head of a Red Bull, I believe that is, as we come into turns 9 and 10. He's able to get out of the way. DRS open once again. Coming down towards 11, and of course with the latest patch that came out today, some of these curbs are a lot less deadly than what they were when these guys raced in Division 1, 2, 3 earlier in the LOE F1 divisions, and we're going to see people attacking the curbs a lot more this time around.
Yep, as Nolan Luigi gets round the final corner, this looks a very decent lap so far. Don't know if it's going to go onto pole, is it? No, 6 tenths off in the end. He said he was a bit compromised through turn 2, but the rest of the lap looked pretty solid. But just the overall pace not quite there. Definitely, well, he's not done a bad job by any means. He's ahead of his teammate at the moment, who is Luke on the medium tyres. You just think there's probably a bit more somewhere, but it's hard to quite pinpoint it.
Yeah, and the man on provisional pole right now is on a 27.1. It is Relentless Nolan. and he's doing a very good job so far. I believe he is on a second flying lap, so we'll see what he's going to do if he's up on his time coming into the middle sector. He does have a car right in front of him, and that is Marty, who is out of the session. That would have put off Nolan coming into turn 11. I can assure you of that. Let's see what it is in the middle sector, and he's half a second off. So I'm guessing that that definitely put him off going into turn 11.
Yeah, I tried to look what happened to Marty. He's lost. He's broken the suspension on the right front tyre. Don't quite know how he's done that into that corner, but as I say that we didn't notice. Brent had gone to the top with a 26.6. Now five tenths out in front in the Ferrari. So a very good lap around what is one of the most power-dependent circuits on the calendar.
And Larkin just goes up there just behind Nolan, and Brent, I completely missed it, but Brent goes up on the provisional pole.
Yeah, with this being a very power-dependent circuit, obviously that comes much more into play with these realistic cars, and a Ferrari being on pole is not something I would have thought I'd see today. Doesn't benefit them at all. They have one of the slowest engines, along with the Alpine. So Larkin putting that lap in as well is a big surprise.
Yeah, as we got Rick to the line now, and he does a 28.6. It's not an improvement, but he is on the medium. So hopefully, when he switches over to the sauce, we'll get a more representative time from Rick, and we'll see with 7.5 minutes to go in qualifying, these guys are going to be thinking about going to the sauce.
Yeah, it's about the time most people would have just finished their second laps, or would just be about to finish their second laps and come into the pits. So I just want to quickly, you touched on the points earlier. I just want to go through it a bit more thoroughly. There's all 20 drivers, if they finish the race, get points, so 1 point for 20th. But if you win the race, it is 60 points, which seems like a ridiculous number, but it is 60 points, very high, but it makes the bonus for finishing the race and then winning just so rewarding. 60 points for first, 52 for second, and 46 for third, and you can see it progressively goes down. So the normal points cut off for LOE 12th place is 10 points, and then you go down from there, pretty much in by one digit.
Luke pops himself up in the second there. I was just on board with him. Pops himself up
good
the
lap.
order.
Good lap from Luke there, as you say, jumps up into second place in the McLaren, which is a bit more what I'd expect for the straight line speed.
We got Rocco with an invalid lap, so it's unfortunate for him. We got Passy, apparently purple in the middle sector. Sometimes the game does lie to us, so we'll wait and see what happens when he crosses the line. But for the final corner now comes Passy, and definitely one to keep an eye on, and he's going to cross the line, and it's a 27.3. Gets himself into the top 10 though.
Yeah, that's about where I'd expect the Ferraris to be, really, pace-wise. Kind of in that 7th, 8th, 9th region. So just, once again, just shows how good of a lap Brent has done to get on provisional pole.
Yeah, absolutely. As I'm on board with Energetics now, in the new Red Bull livery that they're going to be running at, well, I think they ran at Turkey in the white Red Bull livery, and it's strange to see the purple for the Red Bull dot on the mini map, and then see a white car on them. It is a little bit off-putting, I'm not going to lie. But to the line will come Energetics, and he does improve by 8.5 tenths, but it only improves him up one position.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be starting on those tyres. I mean, with it being a full-length, 100% distance race, two-stop is definitely a more viable option around this track than it normally would be, with obviously the more laps to make up the time. But even so, a lot of people are going to want to start on the medium tyres if they can if they start from 11th and downwards. I don't think we'll see anyone outside the top 10 be on those soft tyres at the start. Just, it's not worth it, really. and it makes the guys in the top 10. They've got a pace advantage though, being in the top 10. But with the soft tyres, it just makes their strategy. They've got to think a lot more what they do tyre-wise, look after them a lot more. So it makes a race a lot more interesting with the tyre wear around here, and with more laps to make it up, 2-stop, definitely a feasible option.
Yeah, absolutely. I jumped into a party with a couple of the drivers tonight and asked them what they think the race strategy will be. A lot of them saying the 2-stop a little bit more viable here in the 100%, but I do know that the 1-stop could also be a shout if you do not want to take that second pit stop and lose a tyre pit stop worth of time. But on board with Foul Fury, who he got onto the curb slightly and they kind of compromised him going into turn 8. He wasn't positioned where he would have liked to have been. He was more in the middle of the track on the approach to the corner, which is definitely going to compromise him there in terms of lap time. But it looks pretty clean from him so far as we go into 11 and climb up the hill into 12. Let's see where his middle sector is saying if he's up. He is up by 6/10. This is going to be on course to beat Brent by about 2/10, maybe 2.5. Sorry, yeah, 2.5 maybe 3/10 of a second as he comes through the final corner. Will we see the same old Mercedes on provisional pole here today? Yes, we do. And he goes up into provisional pole with a 26.4.
Very good lap from Fury. Kind of expected. Well, with the slower drivers meant to be in the faster cars, but obviously Fury not in the divisions, so kind of gets away with this one. No, that's a good lap from him. Mercedes on pole. Surprising.
Realistic,
no one
though.
Really, but it is a very good lap.
Yeah, realistic. Obviously, Mercedes up there. As we got Nolan, he was marginally down on his time in the middle sector, but he can definitely find that in the final sector, and he comes to the final corner now. To the line, what is this going to be for Nolan? He does improve by 0.5.
Yeah, I was just watching Campbell coming around the exit of turn 4. I thought he might have had a spin or something, but he just dropped to the back of the field. I think that was a tactical decision, so he is now the last car on track. But there are definitely other cars trying to do the exact same thing, as I think Nolan's gone for a second lap here.
Yeah, Luke is about a 10.5 up, so this will put him ahead of Brent. Is he gonna be able to find enough time in the final sector to really touch Foul Fury's time? He gets very close. He's only half a tenth off it.
And Brent is up in the first sector by 0.5. This is going to be one to watch, whether he can get close to Foul Fury as well.
Yeah, as we only got 30 seconds left in the session. Obviously, the yellow flags for Sector 3 coming out, blocking the time remaining, as it always is. Brent's lost it on traction. He's done a Vettel.
That's going to hurt. He was probably on for pole position with that first sector, and the second sector looked pretty good up until that point. So that's going to be a painful one when he starts the race.
Yep, and Nolan's going to duck out into the pit lane, so the checker flag is out as we got Rick now coming for the final corner in the Alpha Tauri. Let's see what he does to the line. DRS wide open, and he improves by 7/10, gets him all the way up into 7th place.
Very decent lap. AlphaTauri was strong here in real life. That's a pretty solid lap once again, as Mark has finally joined the session. Now that's another one to watch. That's the one I missed, Mark. Starting from last in Bahrain, it'll be fun to watch that one.
Yes, it will. He's going to have to do a last question mark challenge here. Hopefully, though, with Mark joining late, well, at the end of qualifying, we do not have a standard lobby glitch as Montoya gets himself up into 9. Justas, small improvement, gets him up into 16th as we got drivers now crossing the line. What can Campbell do? He's going to bail out because he has invalidated his lap. We've got a Red Bull of Energetics, 8 up in the middle sector. Let's see what he does to the line. This will get him pretty decently up the order. And he jumps up in the 4th there, Energetics and the Red Bull.
Very good lap, obviously in the Red Bull, but still a very good lap to gain that much time on the final run.
That's it.
Someone that did well in qualifying, Montana, gets knocked out of the top 10 at the last moment. He's going to be starting at 11th, so that is pretty much perfect for that for the Haas car.
Yeah, absolutely. And see Montoya being effectively in a position where he can keep all of his options open. He can go medium hards. He can go for a 2-stop if necessary. All the cards are in his hand right now, and he does have a lot of drivers around him who can challenge. Obviously, with Verstappen and Campbell, we expect car mentalist to be a little bit higher. I mean, he's pretty much been shown up by his teammate Nolan. Let's be fair. That's a big gap, though. 6/10 there. I take it he's in Lance Stroll's car.
The other interesting thing from that was Ferrell Fury did his lap about 2 minutes before the end of the session, went back into the pits, and every single car behind him made a mistake. Well, every car from about second down to maybe 8th, excluding Energetics, either made a mistake or invalidated their lap time. So he hangs on to pole, not even being out on track.
Yeah, as we got Old School has got into his car before the session ended, so hopefully that does mean that we won't have a lobby glitch. He is going out right now, so see the time is has expired, but we're watching him go on an out lap. Maybe he's just gonna do this lap, peel off into the pits, and just save his setup. That's exactly what he's doing.
Mind reader.
I can predict things, like, you know, the only thing I can't predict is the lottery. One day I'll get it right. But there we go. That's going to bring an end to qualifying for the first round of the Enduro Championship. And we're going to take you through the order. So it is Ferrell Fury on pole position with Luke alongside. Mercedes versus McLaren. Going to be very interesting. Brent in 3rd for the Ferraris, with Energetics in 4th for the Red Bull. It's a familiar top four constructors, I'm not going to lie. Larkin in 5th with Nolan in 6th, Noel Luigi in 7th, Killer Blue in 8th, Rick in 9th, Passe in 10th. Then we outside the top 10 with free choice of tyre compound, we have Montoya, Dylan, Verstappen, Campbell, Car Mentalist, Rocco, Justas, Ibo, Marty and Old School. Both Marty and Old School unable to set a lap time. Marty, of course, crashing out, and Old School joining very late into the session.
This is going to be a very interesting start, especially at the front. The pace difference didn't seem that massive between any of the guys in the front 4 positions. So whoever gets off the line the best, if 4th place gets a really good run, they could be leading. It's
sorry,
side by side.
I just looked at the chat and apparently I've been saying Montoya instead of Montana. Oh my god. It's going to be a long night, lads. Long night indeed. But yeah, Montana. Oh, why did you have to bring that up, Maverick? Oh. Juan Pablo NSX, yes. And let the memes begin. But here we go now into the formation lap. 57 laps awaiting these drivers. And a very interesting contrast outside the top 10. Marty and Old School going for the soft tyres, everyone else on the mediums.
They clearly think they've got a lot of time to make up, not setting a lap in qualifying. They just need the fastest tyre to get through as far as they can at the start. So it is interesting, but the two, as I said before, the two stops a very good possibility around this track, and then especially with the 100% distance. So if they can get through quickly, it should pay off for them.
Yeah, the strategy relies on trying to get through these guys on the mediums as soon as possible. Obviously, I mentioned to you before we started the stream the possibility of maybe engine issues, gearbox issues being a factor. Of course, this being a 100% race, it definitely could be a factor. If you rev out your engine a bit too much, you could do a little bit too much wear and be down on power towards the end of the race.
Oh, definitely. And especially the other thing that realistic performance adds as well is the reliability being better in some cars than others. So I don't know what cars actually have the worst reliability on this game, but I'd assume something like the Alpine and cars maybe, yeah. So some cars just gonna naturally have more chance of having the problems than others.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But 57 laps await these guys, and I can't predict a winner. I really can't. But it is going to be intriguing nonetheless.
I'm gonna go with Pharrell Fury to win.
Wow, banking on Mercedes, like, that's so boring, like, as everyone now goes into the grid positions, there is an X on Car Mendelis' name, so hopefully he is in the session. As here we go, we got the 5 red lights on, and lights are out, and we are underway for the Enduro season. It is a very good start there from Pharrell Fury. Gets off the line lovely as Brent's going to try and have a little look around the outside of Lucas. We got Energetic and Larkin side by side through turn 1. Oh, as the McLaren of Nolan Luigi goes straight into the back of Larkin. Is that wing damage from the McLaren? Doesn't look it visually, but he went clattering into the back.
Yeah, I think he might have just got away with that one. I didn't quite see it, but no damage from my point of view anyway. Very good start off the line from Pharrell Fury, and Brent made a very good move around the outside of Luke and the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, as we got Nolan having a bit of a battle with both of the Alpines there of Killer Blue and Larkin. He's in a bit of an Alpine sandwich. As further down the field, Montana, not Montoya this time, Montana has managed to get himself up into P9. Well, Luigi, he has dropped down a few places, so he's going to be recovering, and Verstappen's got himself up into 11th. So right now, as Verstappen, they're getting through on Noel Luigi, as Noel Luigi must have damaging, because he's dropping back.
Actually, watching the way he's driving right now, I think he must have damage. Doesn't look it, but yeah, he just can't turn that car, so he must have picked up damage. We'll find out if he's going to come into the pits now. And
yes, he does. Now, normally in a 50%, you'd think, okay, I need a safety car to get me back into this race, but with it being a 100% race, he could go for the medium hard strategy now to the end, and if people too stop, he's going to be right there with them again.
I think that's what he's going to do. Puts on the medium tyres, changes his front wing.
Justas is around. I just caught that in the background. Justas going for a spin in the background. He gets himself going again, but yeah, Justas around. There's a nice little 360. Gets himself going again, as I have no timing delta, so Nice to see
Yes.
the patch has fixed absolutely everything. Like, you know, it's not too much to ask as Old School gets through on Marty. As he almost goes straight into the back of Campbell, but he goes deep. That's going to allow Marty to really come back at him. And with that Mercedes engine, he's going to pull alongside the side-by-side going into turn 11. It's Old School going to hang it around the outside. He is going to hang it around the outside, but can he keep the position? It's still wheel to wheel, and Old School, yes, he's just about got it.
It's not really helping either of them battling, because they both put on the soft tyres to try and get through the field, and then battling is not getting them any closer to getting through. So I think that was actually Old School getting back through on Marty. I saw he was ahead on lap 1.
Yay! Times! I see times!
and yeah, Marty's going to come back at him. You'd think down this straight now, but he's a bit further back, so seems to have stabilised there.
Yeah, and of course, as Marty actually goes into the back of Old School there, a little tap there, a little love tap to the AlphaTauri, and what I was going to say, of course, with DRS now being enabled, as we have moved on to lap 3, obviously the engine power of these cars are going to come into effect a little more often. As oh no, Farrell Fury has gone, he's off track. Farrell Fury has gone around and he's given up a lot of positions there, and we got Killer Blue having a look at. He's not going to go down the inside. Oh, thank God! He had a little peek down the inside into turn 9 and 10. Did Killer Blue, but he thought better of it. And yeah, look at that. Obviously, with the Mercedes engine versus the Alpine, with the that Renault engine, it's just no contest, is it?
Yeah, the commentator's curse has struck again. I apologise. But you know, Farrell Fury, it could have been a lot. What he did spun out the lead, obviously, but he only lost 5 places. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been right at the back. So you know, he's pulling away from Killer Blue here. Obviously, with the Mercedes engine just being absolutely rapid in a straight line.
As we got a battle for the lead right now, as Luke with DRS gets through on Brent. McLaren overtaking Ferrari.
Yeah, that Ferrari just has nothing in a straight line, really. To be able to hang on to that, and Luke just breezes straight past him.
Yep, and he's not the only one that breezed straight past. Verstappen got past Montana for P9, and I believe we saw Marty get back through on Old School, and he's going to have a look down the inside of Campbell. Marty down the inside of the Williams, and he's got it done.
Very nice move from the Mercedes driver. Two overtakes in the space of, what, 3-4 corners. Very, very nicely done. And his charge is well and truly back on.
Yeah, and of course he needs to use his soft tyre as well. He has the advantage on him. He's probably not as far up as he would have liked at this point, but let's see what that Mercedes engine is going to do for him, as he is immediately going to look down the inside of Dylan for 13th. Dylan with a little bit of a switchback line. Is he going to be able to get himself alongside to try and hang it around the outside? No, Dylan has to settle for 14th.
That is excellent driving from the pair of them. Marty makes yet another move. Just that Mercedes just looks so slippery in a straight line. Just whatever the gap is, it just looks like he's going to breeze straight through it.
Speaking of slippery in a straight line, looks like the Red Bull is also very slippery in a straight line, so he's going to try and go around the outside of Brent. His Energetics for 2nd place into turn 1, very close in turn 2. But Brent able to hold on, but let's see if Energetics is going to get close enough. Doesn't appear to be close enough into turn 4, but outbreaks himself, almost goes straight into the back of the Ferrari. That's going to allow Larkin to go side by side. We've got Farrell Fury and Nolan side by side in behind. Through the S's, Nolan and Farrell Fury, the two relentless boys. Nolan running slightly off track there, and I think that's the downforce of the Aston Martin coming into play there, just dragging him wide. And Killer Blue is just sitting behind this, waiting for an opportunity in that Alpine.
Yeah, and that is something drivers are going to have to watch, the lower downforce levels in some of these cars. Taking the normal lines that they try to take in the Eagle cars, just going to drag them out wide. Potentially get them warnings. So penalties are going to be massive throughout the season, but especially tonight.
It's been a switch with the Alpha Tauris. Rick has let old school go.
Yeah, and before that, he managed to get past Dylan into turn 1. So he's just trying to keep up with Marty if he can. If he can
Marty overtaking Montana.
This is chaotic so far.
Ridiculous, the power of that Mercedes engine.
It is insane. Montana, obviously, in the Haas, not much he can fight with, but as Pharrell Fury is going through on Nolan into turn 1, he gets it stopped. Is Nolan going to try and switch back down to turn 4? He's right in behind him with the DRS. The gap has opened up massively in front, and you get the feeling, no, Nolan's going to stay in behind. So Pharrell Fury gets into 5th place and holds it down into turn 4.
Yeah, but Old School appears to have got through against Rocco for 12th place. Normally that'd be worth a single point, but here tonight it is worth a further 2 points. So it's worth 10 points now for Old School as he's got through into P12. Yeah,
exactly what I said before. He's just trying to follow Marty through. I think Marty also got through on Verstappen. So they are one overtakes, then the next one overtakes.
Nolan had a little peek down the inside of Pharrell Fury, but decides to not go for it. This is very interesting because see, Pharrell Fury in that Mercedes is definitely a better car than Nolan's Aston, who's just gone off track, so that could put him under pressure from Killer Blue in behind, who's closing up to him. And here we go with DRS. Can Killer Blue get this move done? DRS wide open, he's closing in, he's tucked into the slipstream as Old School, I believe, just got past Montana as Killer Blue stays in behind, and Marty with the fastest lap of the race so far, now in clear air, and Old School gets through on Verstappen as well, so Old School now up in the 10th.
I think this is very interesting. Marty started from 19th, his teammates started in 1st, and they are only about 4 seconds split on track. He's going to close up to the back of them the rate he's going. Obviously, Pharrell Fury and all the cars around him have worn soft tyres. He had fresh ones from the start, but that is still great progress from Marty to get that close to his teammate already.
And not only for Marty, but also for Old School as well. To also kind of follow him through. He may be just under 2 seconds back. In fact, it's over 2 seconds now. But he's also followed him through. As we still got Luke up in the lead, his teammate Noel Luigi, obviously with the damage he picked up on lap 1, trying to get himself back into this race, and that's that's Pharrell Fury gone into the wall. It's gone from bad to worse for the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, I've well and truly ruined his race, haven't I?
Yes, you have.
Yeah, no, I think, well, you might have just got too eager on the curb, maybe. Up there, it is quite easy to spin at that corner. May have just cooked his tyres a little bit. And gone
Poor
round.
Montana, he hasn't got the straight line speed to compete with these engines around him.
He's doing a very good job on those medium tyres, staying with that pack though. And this is going to pay dividends towards the end of the race. He's going to do a 1-stop and go along with the Hasses as that's Old School round at the exit of turn 3. I don't know if he hit the barrier, might have got rear wing damage there, but that has just put a halt to his progress. He was doing very well from the back of the grid, but around he goes at the exit of turn 3.
Yeah, we got Car Mentalist and Pharrell Fury battling out there. Pharrell Fury able to keep the position, and now we move into the territory as Old School's retired.
Yeah, he went off at turn 5. I think he might have just taken too much curb. Wow, that has helped a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of people towards the front of this field, and actually, it's going to help people like Noel Luigi and Pharrell Fury of being caught up in incidents, either by themselves or other people, and it's going to help them really get back into this race.
Yeah, so what I think's happened Old School right there, obviously he just had that spin on the exit of turn 3, I think his tyres were incredibly overheated as he went through the S's and clipped the curb, no control, with his tyres being overheated, and now we have a full course safety car and all the soft runners are going to peel off into the pits. Will we see the medium runners into the pits? We're going to see a few as we've got hard tyres on Nolan's car.
This is interesting. Killer Blue has decided he wants to stay out. I think he's going to have to sit behind the safety car.
He didn't want to double
stack. He started
in
the top 10.
Yeah, he didn't want to double stack with his teammate, but it has cost him more time than what it would have cost him double stacking.
Because he's going to be sat here now. If he pits on the next lap, he's going to be near enough dead last. So, yeah, you just think maybe it was worth the risk just to get in that double stack. You lose probably two, 3 positions, but you're not losing 20 positions.
Yeah, and obviously some of the drivers, they've come into the pits, and it's an interesting split. A lot of the drivers gone for a medium, so obviously Luke, Brent, Larkin, Passe, Rick, Foul Fury, Campbell and Noel Luigi all gone for the mediums. We've got Carl Mendeles, Verstappen and Energetics gone for a new set of soft tyres, and Nolan, the lone man, on the hards.
I think it's a bit optimistic from Nolan. I think if he's put on the hards, I think he might try and go to the end, which it's going to be difficult to do.
So what I heard from Nolan, lap 12 is the point where you can make it to the end on the hards. And obviously with the safety car being out, it's only going to be a lap or 2 extra.
Right, so that is quite clear from him. He's going straight to the end on those hard tyres. That is a very long way to go, and it purely depends on how long this safety car is out for, really. He probably needs another lap or 2, well, probably another 2 laps, but I don't know if he's going to get that.
Yeah, so the interesting thing that I want to kind of figure out now is how long are these mediums going to last? Because it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed people are going to pit again off the mediums, but I say those mediums they drop off at like lap 30, let's say. You know, pit for another set of the mediums, take them straight to the end. I think that'd be the better call compared to the hards, because you're going to be on fresh mediums versus 20 plus lap old hards by the end. Well, by the time these guys come into the pits for that second pit stop, Nolan's strategy could work, but it's a bit of a long shot, let's say.
Yeah, it's going to be more of a Hungary 2019 situation. They're just the fresher type. They're just going to gauge so much. You're going to be looking at 1.5, 2 seconds a lap, really, compared worn hards to fresh mediums. So it is a big gamble from Nolan, but we'll see if he can make it work.
And of course, Energetics started on softs. He's chucked on another set of soft tyres. So presumably he's going to try and go. To around the say lap anywhere from lap 22 to 25. Presumably he's thinking about stretching these softs till he can take a set of mediums to the end.
Yeah, probably what he can do, what he can try and do ideally, but whether the tyres are going to hold on for that long, we don't know really with the soft tyres. You would have think maybe you can maybe get 15 laps out of them at a push. So if he can do that and put on the mediums, that is still a very long way to go on mediums as well, 32 laps. But this is the beauty of the 100% race. We're finding out for the first time.
Yep, as we wait for Killer to get underway, and he's absolutely timed to perfection. He's left Marty. He's caught Marty slacking there on the restart, but let's not forget Marty is in the Mercedes, so it's not going to be long before he's right back on him. Montana reacted well to Marty. See Rocco and Dylan in behind. as Energetics down the inside of, oh, around the outside of Brent, side by side. Energetics, is he going to be able to pull this off? Yes, he does. Energetics up into 7th place, and presumably let's say a net P2, as we got Verstappen getting through on pass 8 side by side. And Commenters has left the session once again, so Commenters having connection issues here tonight.
Yeah, unfortunate for Commentalist. I think that's the second one of the night, but a very important move that from Energetics. Obviously on the softs, I think one of the only ones. There's 2-3 guys that pit for the softs. He was the only one in the top 10. He needs to get through the field like Marty did at the start of the race. He needs to work his way to the front before he pits again. He needs to try and get as much of an advantage as he can, but not. He does need to save a little bit of the tyre to try and get onto the mediums.
Yeah, as Verstappen's just got through on Justas, who stayed out on his medium tyres, so he's on 10 lap old mediums. And now what we have right here with Nolan Verstappen is essentially it's basically bullying right now. You know, hards versus the softs. It's bullying. As Energetics gets through on Dylan, following Luke through, and we had a change for the race lead with Marty getting past Killer Blue, as Energetics and Dylan still side by side. The exit, and Energetics gets that move done. And now Brent tucked in behind the Alfa Romeo. May have a look down the inside. Broken later, but didn't go for the move. And obviously in behind we got Nolan on his hards. He's trying to put up a bit of a fight to Verstappen. Doesn't want to let this go, but
It's great defending from Nolan.
Yeah, great defending from Nolan. And once again, my timing deltas have disappeared.
I think on the last lap, something I just saw. I think Carmentalist set the fastest lap of the race whilst not being in the session. Which is the first time I've ever seen that, I think.
Yep, as Campbell gets through on New Luigi and is up into 17th place. Commentless now back in his car. He did rejoin the session for a second time. He's looking at the back of Foul Fury as Brent gets through on Dylan. Dylan dropping back now on those 11 lap old medium tyres. And look at the train ahead of these guys. Rocco, Luke and Energetics, who's going to have to get a straight line speed as we run down into turn 1. Luke looking to the inside of Rocco. I think he's going to get it done. Energetics going to stick in behind, not wanting to follow Luke through there. But now with DRS, here goes Energetics, looks to the inside for turn 4, down the inside he goes. Job done, thank you, I'll take P5.
That was effortless from Energetics down into turn 4.
Nolan's around.
Oh,
was that contact there for Nolan with Verstappen perhaps? I'm not sure.
that would be a massive shame. Because the strategy...
Fury almost into the back of Rick up ahead. It's all kicking off in the midfield.
There's so much going on, it's so hard to keep up.
Oh, Rick, big lunge down the inside from Rick there. And he's actually pulled it off. Well move.
What a move. Just as kind of sitting duck at this point. Everyone's got to get past him. As Pharrell Fury goes around the outside. A little bit of contact, I think, there. And Justas isn't going to quite give this up, but I think the Mercedes probably through now. There we go.
Yep, as Pharrell Fury gets the move done. As we do have Old School now in the chat, so I mean, maybe we can ask Old School what exactly happened with his DNF. Was it just tyres overheating as New Luigi and Justas are battling for P14 as New Luigi gets the move done? As we got the battle of the Astons there with Nolan and Carmentalist. I believe Carmentalist back in his car after lagging out once again.
with Energetics right on the back of Luke, who's also right on the back of Killer Blue. So Killer Blue, having not pitted yet, those soft tyres are going to be like driving on ice at this point in the race. Luke's put on the mediums, and then Energetics on the fresh soft. So you'd think Energetics would have the most pace up these guys, but he kind of stuck behind for now. It depends what Luke can do up against Killer Blue. Is he going for that move into turn 11? He has a look.
Nolan picks up a 3-second time pen. Sorry to cut you off there, but yeah, Nolan picking up a 3-second time pen, and see that's another thing that you know, we haven't really thought about in the 50% races. Obviously, it's pretty uncommon to see these guys picking up 3-second time pens, but obviously 100% race when the wear and tear of racing for over an hour starts to become apparent, as Killer Blue's going to lose 2 places here down this straight with no DRS at his disposal. Obviously, racing for an hour, so you're gonna lose concentration. That's just gonna happen. Like, no one here is really used to racing for that length of time. So, are we gonna see more 3-second time penalties than we usually do? As Brent going very wide there, as Larkin. Brent fighting for 7th place. We had Verstappen getting through on Dylan. Now he's up into 9th place, putting those soft tyres to good use. But yeah, what do you think? Do you reckon we'll see more 3-second time penalties than we normally do?
Oh, definitely. But well, in theory, actually, yes. But maybe these guys are being a bit more careful. Because obviously, the longer race, you sat on 2 warnings for 40 laps instead of 20. But you would think so. You know, there's a lot of places around here where you can go wide and get a warning. So it's going to be a massive learning curve for a lot of these guys to learn.
Ooh, Justas around.
When you can. Yeah, Justas around for the 2nd time in this race. And he brought closer to the pack by the safety car, and now he's right down there again. As
Energetics gets through on Luke, Killer Blue stays out as Marty is into the pits, and Larkin down the inside of Montana and Rocco. Can Rocco maybe try and sneak his way past the Haas driver? He's right underneath that rear wing. And Montana pretty much holding up a train right now. You can see his red light there blinking. He's got nothing left in ERS. And down the inside goes Brent on Rocco into turn 4. And the Ferrari trying to get involved.
Yeah, epic battling in the midfield. Marty, the race leader, just goes into the pits. He's actually decided, I'm pretty sure, he's going to 2-stop. Which is a strange decision. I thought he was going to pit for the hard compound tyres. I mean, if they can go from lap 12, they could definitely go from lap 15. So he's decided against that. He's gone on the mediums, and he's still got another stop. So he's got to do a lot of work to get back up the field.
And I just heard from Old School. It is literally, as I said, his tyres were overheated and he tried to catch a slide.
Very unlucky. Mark was having a very good race, but yeah, one spin can completely ruin your race. Just the tyres. You have one spin and the tyres are just gone, and they never recover. You have to drive about 3 seconds a lap slower. As we have Brent finally making the move on the Haas. Montana drops down into 6th place, still ahead of a drive so far from Montana, as Ibo picks up his first penalty.
I didn't see it. It didn't count for me. Ibo did not pick up a time penalty, and I think every single person watching right now would agree that we didn't see it, so it doesn't count. We got Campbell on the back of Nolan. Doesn't get his way through. I believe we had Foul Fury getting through on Rick for 10th place. So Foul Fury, he's had a couple of spins and he's trying to make his way back up the order. Obviously, with that Mercedes, he does have a good chance of getting some very good points here tonight.
He's actually, I think he's net ahead of his teammate again, with Marty's decision to two-stop. Because he already pit under the safety car.
Verstappen goes a little bit deep, was trying to make the move on Rocco, this side by side coming up the hill, and Verstappen able to cover it off, but doesn't want to lose too much time. He's just dipped outside of that 1 second to Montana, and he's just managed to get himself back in it, so he will be able to help defend himself with DRS. Speaking of DRS, Brent tucked up right underneath Larkin. This is for P4, and Brent is get this move done down the inside of Larkin. Is Larkin gonna go for a switchback, try and get a better exit? He is gonna try and straighten up the car quicker, gets the traction down, but he's gonna have the speed to throw it around the outside as of Brent. And
Waluigi's round out of turn 3. I was just about to say you've done an excellent job to get back into this race after the lap 1 incident, but yeah, he's around at the exit of turn 3.
It's heartbreaking for Waluigi as Verstappen's managed to get through on Montana also, so Verstappen putting those soft tyres to good use. He's got himself up into 6th place, and Killer Blue right now 17 laps on those soft tyres. He's doing well.
Doing very well. I'm just wondering what his next move is, because he could realistically, he could one stop from here, or he could stick on another set of softs and do a 2-stop if he can take them that far. And his pace hasn't dropped off massively.
You don't think Killer Blue is going to go for the unthinkable and 100% and do soft medium?
I don't know. At the rate he's going, he could.
Yeah, because obviously we're on lap 19 now. He's almost done 20 laps on the softs. Now, as Brent has a look at Larkin, stuck his nose down the inside, but Larkin able to hold off. Has a bit of a snap on the exit though, but Brent not close enough really to take advantage of it. As we've got moves going on further down the field, there's a lot going on right now. It's difficult to keep up with everything, as Marty and Campbell are having a bit of a battle towards the back end, as Waluigi has a look at Nolan, tries around the outside, unable to do anything though for Waluigi, and Marty's tucked in right behind these two now, as Parsey and Dylan, I believe, just traded positions. But yeah, as I was saying, he's almost done 20 laps on these softs. Surely he's got the tyre weight to potentially take the mediums to the end now.
Potentially. I don't even think he's had a thought of pitting at this point. So at this point, yeah, he probably could do it, but it would be a big risk, because you can do the tyre wear on the softs, but the tyre wear on the mediums could be completely different. So it is completely up in the air.
Well, this is going to be very intriguing to see if he is going to be able to pull it off, because I wasn't expecting to see someone try that particular strategy. As we got Fatal Fury looking down the inside of Rocco with DRS, as Carmentless and Dylan also trading positions there for P12 and P13 in behind, as Waluigi gets through on Nolan for 14th place. All the moves seem to be happening as Larkin and Killer Blue trading positions there, and I think that's team orders, and a bit of a smart one at that, with Larkin on fresher medium tyres versus Killer Blue's aging soft tyres.
Yeah, I watched them down the pit straight. I don't know if it was an intentional thing, but Killer Blue, like, Larkin could not get anywhere near him down the pit straight, but I think it was trying to hold off Brent, make the move switch before turn 4, and then Brent gets kind of stuck behind the other Alpine driver, Killer Blue, for a lap, and see if Larkin can gap him.
Yeah, and for Larkin now, he needs to gap his teammate, because I don't think Killablue's going to be able to hold off for too long. I think see, once we get to the straight, he might even go for it before the pit straight, which wouldn't be the smartest idea. It's wait for DRS, and that's exactly what he's going to do. But yeah, that Ferrari engine more powerful than the Renault engine in the Alpine, but Killer Blue gets a fantastic exit there, and he just cruises away in the traction.
He must be running a very low wing setup, because he's not even using the ERS down the straight. He is just that quick in a straight line. So this is going to be very interesting to see, because this is just damaging Brent. It's allowing Larkin to try and get away, but even that is a struggle with the Killer Blue's straight line speed.
Yeah, absolutely. And in behind we got Montana being overtaken by Foul Fury for P7. Got Verstappen, who Verstappen could close up to the back of Brent and Killer Blue here. He is slowly eking into that train, only losing out really when DRS is active for those guys ahead. Also, we've got Foul Fury in behind in that Mercedes, and he's going to be closing in as well. And what he's also doing is dragging Montana along.
Yeah, but Montana is slowly falling back.
He's in the Haas.
It's going to be difficult.
Let's not forget he is in the Haas.
There is that, but he is going to slowly start falling back. He obviously, along with Rocco and Dylan, and the two at the back, Eustace and Nevo, have not made a pit stop yet on the medium tyres.
And here we go. Killer Blue now out of DRS range to his teammate. Brent is going to overtake him and get himself up the order into 4th place, and it was close to see if that was enough to get him back within DRS again of Larkin. We're going to wait and see. No, he's not in DRS range of Larkin for the detection point, but he is within it now.
Yeah, I thought I was interested to see if Killer Blue would be able to have enough to go back at him into turn 4, but I think he just had a little bit of a wobble on the entrance to the straight, and that put any hopes of that to bed.
Yeah, absolutely. And the longer this race goes, the more I'm convinced that Killer Blue's going for a soft medium.
He's going to have to watch his tyres at some point, though. 22 laps is extreme. A lot of these guys are off them within 9, so, well, it was forced by a safety car, but you'd think they would have been off them fairly soon after that anyway. But he's going as far as he can at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And further down the field, we got Marty getting through on Luigi. Mercedes versus McLaren. Up into 13th goes Marty. It is unlucky for some, but he is trying to fight his way back up the field now after making his first pit stop. Maybe he would have been better staying out, but obviously we don't know the tyre wear. Maybe Killer's tyres are just absolutely, they're tidy, as Foul Fury gets through on Verstappen. And Larkin and Brent battling.
Yeah, this looks interesting. There's Brent, who's got the DRS. I think Brent does. So they're going to go down to turn 4. He's not quite. He's got him on the brakes. Can he hold it around the outside? Get a feeling he's going to get squeezed out there by Larkin, and Larkin holds on to P3.
Yep, Larkin doing a good job defending from Brent at the moment, and we'll see. Looking at at the front, Energetics managed to get through up into the lead, 3.8 second the gap, and out of these two, he is going to pit first, so he's going to get the undercut as well. I have a feeling Energetics is looking good for potentially a win here today.
It's going to be interesting though when he does pit, because the train of cars around Montana and Verstappen there, they are falling back from them, but they're not falling back far enough so that when he pits, he'll probably be in the middle of it. So we will have to watch that, and it's how quickly can he get through that traffic and keep the pace up to try and beat Luke out.
If I remember correctly, I believe the pit lane loss is around 20. Oh, is Killer has gone? Killer's lost it.
Oh,
Oh, Killer's left the session.
yeah.
Puncher? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, interesting.
That is bizarre, as Brent has finally got through on Larkin into third place in this race. A lot of time in front of him to make up. Whether Larkin can stay with him make this battle even more interesting. Who knows, but Brent finally through.
And yeah, Car Mentalist does have the fastest lap. We believe it's a bit of a glitch one. See, it was during the time where he was kind of in and out of the session. After that, I believe the fastest lap is Marty on a 31.4.
I think Energetics has a
yeah,
30.1. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I didn't clock that. Heartbreaking for Killer there. I think he's had an incident, lost the car, and then because he left the session, his car has literally just sat there for excruciating amount of time. So he's lost a lot of time as Rick goes through on Montana, and up into 7th place goes the Alpha Tauri as Passe gets through on Rocco in behind. So even if Killer comes back into the race now, not only did he lose the time for the spin, he's lost a further, I want to say a further 10 plus seconds with his car just stationed there.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. The strategy looked on. He kept saying, and yeah, I don't know what's happened going into the final corner, but leaving the session, I'm assuming it's a disconnect. Yeah, it's just rejoined the session, so I'm assuming he's just disconnected and something's happened then. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. The car just sat there, and it's lost him probably 15 more seconds than he needed to lose, and now, yeah, right at the back of the field.
As once again, my times have gone. But
does that mean I can lie to you and say that Ibo's winning?
I mean, I'd be hurt to find out, if you have been lying to me about that. Like, I mean, I don't think you want that. I'll probably just, kick you from the party for saying such things. But Verstappen into the pits, so an early stop for him as Montana has just been passed by Passe into turn 1. You see what I did there? I've got a nice little scrap in behind with Rocco, Marty, and Carmen. This Carmen is tucked right in underneath that Mercedes. But the straight line speed, he can't compete.
As soon as he got out the slipstream there, just seemed all the speed just seemed to evaporate. That Mercedes just so quick when it sat behind another car down the straights. It's ridiculous. Impossible to keep up with.
Yeah, and Verstappen has come out in a decent amount of clear air. He's got 10.4 seconds to his teammate up the road. So he's got a lot of clean air, does Verstappen, to really push into now.
It's a good chance for him to get back up. He was in the top 10 before, but it's a good chance for him to keep that, really. The Williams, obviously, not the fastest car on the grid, unfortunately. But the clear air right now is only going to benefit him with these fresh tyres.
Rocco.
Yeah. Another move. There's been a move every corner in this race. But Marty making his way back up, and now
he's going
to overtake
probably
another overtake.
The Mercedes is just... It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that Haas just has absolutely
Oh,
nothing
speaking
in
of
its race.
Haas, Justas is around in the other Haas again.
Keeping up the Haas tradition.
And I think Killer is back in his car now, which is good. Maybe that's why my times disappeared every time someone rejoins the lobby.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at the time that Killer's lost to Verstappen. Killer was ahead of Verstappen by a few seconds, and he's now 17 seconds behind.
Yeah, such a shame. Such a shame. He was going for a really good result, really good drive up until that point, and yeah, all gone in an instant.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marty overtaking Passe, so it does appear to be the Mercedes show. As Val Fury's out. DNF. That's a full course safety car.
Yeah, I thought so. Position of that car, it's on the side that you don't really drive on, but if anyone else spins there, they're going straight into it. So yeah, full course safety car, kind of inevitable at that point. And actually, I just said Killer Blue might have been out of it. He gets another chance.
The unfortunate thing for Killer Blue though is that he had such a good position on track. Obviously with the spin and then disconnecting his car, just staying stationary there. Even with everyone pitting now in the safety car, he's not going to make himself. He's not going to get himself that far up the order.
That's interesting. Marty's gone on to a set of hards, so he's doing soft, medium, hard in this race.
I think he ran out of.
Yeah.
Oh, Fury left. I'm actually going to check this on the race director, just to see what is. Yeah, so Marty is playing the Formula One tyre bingo right now. He's gone for every single set of tyre available to him in the dry conditions.
I think Waluigi's strategy is excellent as well because he has used both set of mediums, and now he's on another set. He's on a set of hards, so he's actually used a set of softs, a set of hards, and 2 sets of mediums, which is excellent. And he's back in the race. Well, the first safety car helped him out, but the second one has helped him out as well. So he's well and truly back in this one after getting damage on the first lap.
Well, this is intriguing now because obviously Energetics, because he had done 2 sets of softs back to back, he's had to put on a set of mediums. Luke obviously would have seen that Killer Blue was able to take his tyres 20 plus laps. He's gone for a set of softs, and you've got to think the softs can make it to the end now.
It's a bold strategy, that one, especially in the Haas, which is definitely one of the worst cars aerodynamically, and that's just gonna make it worse on the tyres. So it's gonna be very, very difficult for Montana to make that to the end, but who knows? I think we have a car in the pits that is Nolan, so he's given up on his hard tyres. I don't know if he was past the pit lane on the first lap, but
I think he was too close to car mentalist.
So he has.
Although car mentalist is on 9 lap old mediums.
Yeah. So unless car mentalist has put a set of mediums back on that he'd used early in the race, I don't know. But yeah, Nolan off the hard tyres. He clearly didn't want to take them to the end. And onto a set of mediums. So now Waluigi and Marty are the only 2 drivers on the hard compounder tyres.
Right, so obviously 2 drivers that obviously we need to keep our eyes on is of course Marty in that Mercedes. He's going to be, just overtaking for the sake of overtaking on the cars ahead. But Killer Blue as well. We saw how good his straight line speed was earlier when he was on the soft tyres. If his car is that rapid in a straight line, he's going to be picking up a decent amount of positions in the early phases.
Yeah, and and the other one, Nolan, obviously being on those hards, didn't quite get to show what pace he had in that. Aston Martin should be pretty quick in a straight line, so he's another one to watch coming through the field. So them two, right next to each other on track. It'll be interesting who gets the furthest up the field from here.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course we got Luke versus Energetics as well at the top, the softs versus the mediums. Obviously the Red Bull is definitely the faster car, but the McLaren, you'd think on a softer compound would be able to, get the job done, and especially with Luke being a driver in a higher tier here in LOE. Not going to be any slouching behind.
Absolutely, and McLaren's pretty quick in a straight line as well, so he's got a hell of a chance to win this race. But still, 27 laps to go. It's anyone's game at this point, especially with the safety car. So you said Marty. Marty could well come through the field on the hard combo tires. He's towards the end of the race. He should come alive. Who else is in there? Montana's on the softs. You never know.
Yep, you never know. And to be honest, like if anyone beats Montana, I have a feeling that they're going to take a screenshot and it's going up on Twitter. Beat Montana in a race.
You can bet.
Or as I've called him in this stream, Montoya. But we'll allow the memes and we'll allow it. Juan Pablo NSX Montoya, right there.
Another driver. Oh! I was about to say his name.
Passy.
He's just lost it on traction, I'm assuming. That is pretty bizarre, as the safety car's about to come in this lap.
I know we were just speaking about Montana, but you didn't have to recreate Bahrain from this season.
Yeah, I was about to say his name and say he could be one to watch, because he was getting himself well up the field before the safety car. And, he's out at the exit of turn 10 as they are underway again.
Yep,
Energetics has gone.
He's gone, and we are racing once again as Luke's gonna try it down the inside on those soft tyres. Is he gonna be able to get it done? Yes, he does. As we've got some battling going on in the midfield. Noah Luigi and Carmen into this, and who's out into the wall? That's Marty. He's got no front wing.
Wow. Mercedes days have just gone from bad to worse.
Incredible stuff here tonight as Killer trying to go through on Kvyat Campbell, this side by side, wheel to wheel. The Williams and the Alpine is going to come out on top, giving each other just enough room. And in behind also we got Dylan and Nolan side by side. Nolan going to try to hang it all the way around the outside, but Dylan able to come back through. A little bit of contact there on the exit, and Dylan keeps a hold of P13, but Nolan looking racy in behind.
One that had a very good safety car restart was Montana. He's on the back of Rick. He had a look a couple of corners ago down into turn 8, but couldn't quite do anything there. But he's right up behind him on those soft compound tyres. If you're going to do anything, Montana, he's got to do it now before those tyres start to go off, and he will start to drop backwards in that Haas. So he's got to do all he can to get these positions made up right here.
Yeah, unfortunately the issue is, as you can see, he's using his ERS and he's just falling further and further back in that Haas on the straight.
Like Mission Impossible driving that Haas sometimes.
Campbell down the inside of Car Mentalist and up into the top 10 for QVR Campbell, who keep our eyes on, because we saw how good Verstappen was on those soft tyres early on. Campbell looking pretty decent as well, as we got Rick and Montana side by side. Montana just getting a little bit caught on the curb, but Rick gets caught on the curb on the exit. Going to be side by side in turn 8, and we got Rocco there trying to force his way through as well, and Rocco's going to get him down the inside into turn 9 and 10. Rick losing 2 spots in the space of, well, 2 corners.
Very good moves from both of them. Montana very opportunistic, going all the way around the outside of turn 8. It's possible the grip's out there on the outside, but with Rocco's move is just straight past with the ERS.
Yes, and now, of course, we had a bit of a lag spike on the stream then, as on my end there, as unfortunately internet going a little bit haywire, so I'm just going to close the stream down and not watch it. But yeah, Montana doing good on those soft tyres right now. He's going to try and have a look at Verstappen down the inside into turn 4. Is he going to be able to do it? Yes, he does, and he gets himself up into 5th. I swear, if Montana wins this, that's got to be a big flex, hasn't it?
Absolutely, as Energetics picks up a penalty. He's actually 4 seconds behind Luke now.
That's costly. Energetics picking up that penalty, that could have definitely cost him the podium here tonight.
Something I just saw, Killer Blue just flew past Car Mentalist, and Car Mentalist had the DRS and he didn't. That is how quick he is in a straight line in this race. So Killer Blue are already up to 11th place.
Campbell gets through on Rick, and now Campbell's right behind his teammate of Verstappen.
Yeah, excellent drive so far from Campbell. Since the safety car kind of brought him back into play, the first stint he kind of got caught in a bit of no man's land towards the back of the field, but he's right back in play now with these soft tyres, and I think we might see a switch.
It would make sense.
Yeah.
As we got Energetics with DRS getting back through on Brent. Larkin's just in behind waiting for an opportunity, as we got Rocco getting through on Montana for 5th place. And Dylan and Car Mentalist in the background also trading positions, as Car Mentalist actually it's a ghost car for Car Mentalist. Is it the same for you?
Yep, he has disconnected again. He's just rejoined the session, so that's about 3 times. He's just been riddled with internet problems today, or server problems, and his ghost car loses out to Eustace as well, down to 15th.
I'm just going to say this, right? You know, Ibo right now is doing a fantastic job. I mean, he's got a 26-second lead over Marty. You know, he's a D5 driver going up against a D4 driver. The Red Bull and the Mercedes, you know, they are relatively equal in terms of the pace that they have. So, you know, it's good to see Ibo, you know, showing why he is an absolute god amongst men.
Absolute quality performance. He's picking up a great 5 points at the moment, which is a lot better than 1 point, a lot better than no points, which some drivers are getting today. So,
and there's a switch between the Williams.
It was inevitable, really. Verstappen letting his teammate through, see what Campbell can do on the softs before they go off. He can close up to the back on Montana. I think, did Rocco get through on Montana?
Yeah, Rocco did.
I did
DRS
not see
down
that.
the straight.
Yeah. Well, there you go then. Rocco the Alfa Romeo, much faster car than the Haas. But yeah, I get the feeling the softs are gonna start to decline from this point onwards.
I mean, you say that, but we just saw Killer take him 20 laps, and his pace wasn't too bad.
Yeah, but Killer Blue's just an extraordinary driver, isn't he?
I mean, you're not wrong. He is Killer Blue. Right, well, right now Luke is in a bit of a no man's land. He's on his own up front, 7.6 seconds. Since he got past Energetics, he's been able to pull away, and obviously Energetics with that 3-second time penalty in behind, he's gonna be off the podium right now.
As Montana's got back through on Rocco into turn 1, this is a battle that's going to last the whole race, I get the feeling.
Rick getting through on Verstappen as well in behind.
Yeah.
And Rick also has DRS, so he's able to pull away from Verstappen slightly, but back up to this battle of the soft runners. Now Campbell has joined the party. And I think they are closing in on Larkin, Brendan, Energetics as well. So this is going to get tasty in terms of who's going to finish on the podium here today.
Yeah, still another 19 laps after this. Yeah, it's we are over halfway at least at this point. It is a very long time to be sat here watching, but the entertainment so far has been quality, and as you say, these three are closing up to the battle for second. So you're potentially going to be looking at a 7-car battle for second, as we have car mentalist round at the exit of turn 11. And yeah, it must have just been lost it on the throttle. It's fairly easy to do around that corner, and it's going to rejoin 15 seconds back now.
Brent, I'm going to look on Energetics for a second. He thinks better of it last minute, as Rocco thinks better of getting past Montana there.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting if Rick can start to close up to these guys. He's not quite doing it right now, but if he does start to close up, he brings the guys, all the drivers behind him, with him, and you're looking. That's second down to P12 in one train. So this is going to be ridiculous towards the end of this race.
I mean, speaking of ridiculous, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm struggling to remember most of this race so far. We got to do post-race interviews as well with the podium. It's a lot of racing's going on, and very difficult to keep track of everything. Yep. So, if you guys in the chat have any particular questions, go ahead and drop them in. We'll do a bit of fan questions. Why not?
Please.
Can Brent get past Energetics this time around? He's not got the overspeed he's looking for, as Campbell picks up a 3-second time penalty, and Rocco now getting through on Montana and back up into 5th. And Campbell picking up that 3-second time penalty. That's massively costly for him, as Killer Blue and New Luigi having a bit of a tango through turn 1, as Brent and Energetics having a bit of a battle, and I believe Larkin's trying to get himself involved in that as well. This side by side going at the S's, and Brent gets the move done, and up into second place goes the Ferrari.
Very nicely done by Brent. Very close to contact coming into turn 5. It did look kind of going to meet in the middle, but they don't in the end, and yeah, very nicely done by the Ferrari.
Yeah, as Killer's got himself up into 10th place now. He's on the back of Verstappen. Verstappen does not have DRS on Rick up ahead, and you got to think, down the main straight, Killer with the straight line speed we've seen from him so far, he's going to be able to get past Verstappen pretty quickly and then be immediately in the DRS range of Rick up ahead.
Yeah, his straight line speed is just ridiculous. It's probably as good as the Mercedes, to be honest. He's just so quick, and it's not even like he's not pushing down the straights. He's just that much quicker than people. So we have to watch down here. Verstappen is in the slipstream, not in the DRS, but still has the slipstream. Out of VRS.
On Brent down the inside as Montana back through on Rocco down the inside, but he goes deep and Rocco's going to try and cut back, and no, Montana able to keep a hold of the position as Killer Blue and Verstappen there. Oh, bit of contact there, wheels touch. Verstappen lad back through, and rightfully so. As is that Nolan?
I thought I saw a third car in that battle, and then one of them disappeared. So, I don't know if Killer Blue going off has had any effect on Nolan spinning there. He was tucked up right behind them, so yeah, that's a shame for him. He got himself back into that battle after switching from the hards to the mediums, and a lot of that undone now. The exit turn 4.
Yep, and Killer Blue once again has to sit behind Verstappen. And look at the closing speed he has going into the corners is ridiculous. Straight line speed of Killer Blue is apparent as Rocco takes an interesting line, let's say, on the exit of 13.
Yeah, Killer Blue is just so much faster than Verstappen. Coming onto the main straight, this is going to be pretty easy for him.
And once again, Brent has got back through on Energetics as Campbell, big lunge down the inside. He's going to get the car stopped in time. He does, and he is now up into 5th place. And that's big for Campbell because he now needs to try and push away from these two.
Yeah, very important move. His hope is that if he can clear the second window to DRS, Montana will start to fall back. But he's in a Williams, so it's not going to be the easiest job.
He's doing once again side by side. Oh, and that was Larkin again involved then. I was like, what's going on here? I can see 3 cars. What's going on? There's Larkin going to try and use a bit of VRS to get the move done on Energetics. He's down the inside going into 11.
Yeah, I think Energetics is going to lose out on both places here as he does. Larkin gets through, so that is terrible for his race with the penalty. It's falling him back into the clutches of the soft runners behind him, who are now in the DRS zone.
Yeah,
and he's going to lose out massively now.
That freeway battle going into turn 9 and 10 compromised these guys to such a degree that Campbell has been able to close in a second and a half and now has DRS. And we'll see with the DRS as it's going to be free wide into turn 1. Energetics backs out early though, and Larkin's going to try and hang it around the outside, and Larkin does get that position, and Energetics going to come straight back at him with DRS down the inside into turn 4. This is Brent's opportunity to get away now with these two battling, but so far not able to do so.
Yeah, Brent not having the DRS down the straights is very hard for him to actually do anything with both of these guys having DRS. So it's very difficult for him to pull away. He's just got to hope that one of them makes a mistake slightly and that he gets out of that second. But he's gone a bit deep into turn 9 and 10 himself, and that's going to compromise him, and it brings Larkin back towards him.
Yeah, and now all eyes on this 6-man battle for the podium. Obviously with Energetics and Campbell having that 3-second time penalty, it puts them in a position where they're not really in contention for a podium, but they do play a major role in deciding who is going to get the podium, as Brent trying to break clear of Larkin, and Campbell, Montana and Rocco trying to get as close as possible to Energetics and Larkin to maybe take advantage as oh, Montana's into the pits.
They didn't think those softs could go long enough. The other thing I saw the other lap, Verstappen went into the pits on the mediums, so this might be a serious thing for some of the drivers. They might have to look at stopping again. 15 laps to go. This is probably the period where you would look at doing it. But Montana's taken the hit, and he's going to come out in 13th ahead of Verstappen.
Yeah, the gap is about 2.3 seconds. Okay, so now very intriguing because obviously now Montana has pitted. Obviously, I'm pretty sure Rocco and Campbell and Luke especially will know just how long Killer Blue has taken those soft tires. So I don't think they're gonna want to give up the track position here.
No, I agree, but it was a bit longer than Killer Blue took his tires, and it is a bit of a risk.
It's high risk, high reward.
Yeah, exactly, and they're kind of committed to that now. If they pit now, they'll probably get jumped by Montana anyway, and they'd lose so many positions and have to gain them all back. So you've got to kind of commit to it at this point. And as Larkin is going to get through on Energetics was well behind as they went into turn 2. So Larkin back up into 3rd position.
Energetics was trying to overtake Larkin. He had the DRS trying to go down the inside, but wasn't able to pull it off. Okay. The one thing that is interesting though is obviously Luke up ahead. He's got a 15.5 second gap to Brent behind. He could probably pit for a fresh set of softs, set fastest lap as well. Actually, would he be able to get fastest lap? I'm not sure, but apparently Car Mentalist has improved on his fastest lap to a 28.8 now. It was 29 earlier, but yeah, Luke is probably the one guy who could probably pit now and still win. Because he'd come out around Rick Killer Blue area ahead of New World.
He's going to. You called that right on the head. He goes into the pits, and this has got to be for another set of softs. The McLaren crew get ready for him. He's going to come out, as you said, probably around Rick Killer Blue. And onto the soft tires he goes. He's kind of got to get out ahead of Rick, really, to try and make his way through this group. But I don't know if he's going to do it. It's going to be very tight on exit between Rick and he's going to. Oh no, this is going to be very close into turn 1. As Luke comes out the pits, he's broke very late, and he's going to hold on to that. But Rick's going to have the DRS. Maybe slightly warmer tyres, just from being out there longer. But he's miles behind down the straight and can't get anywhere near him. So Luke pretty much timed that to perfection to get out ahead of those guys. And now he's got to put in the fastest laps of his life to get back into first.
Yeah, and the thing is, for Luke, now, he's on fresh sauce, so he is definitely going to close in on these guys. Obviously, he doesn't have to really battle with the likes of Energetics and Campbell because they have the 3-second time penalty, but as Justas picks up a 3-second time penalty. But what Luke is going to have to do is get past Rocco immediately. I hope Campbell and Energetics play ball, because the ones who are really going to fight him is going to be Larkin and Brent.
Yeah, and they're on the medium tire. They'll be slightly less worn. Obviously, not the pace of the softs, but they'll be a lot more intact than Campbell and Rocco when he first comes up to them. And
I mean, he's already almost in DRS. He's almost already in DRS.
Yeah, the pace difference for those fresh softs is ridiculous. And actually, you might even have it here. No, he doesn't. But yeah, he's going to be right on the back of Rocco, probably in about 3 corners time.
Yeah, but as Rocco was actually having a little look on Campbell, but for Rocco right now, this is an opportunity for a podium here. So he might actually put up a bit of a fight against Luke, because this is effectively from a podium.
But this group is falling back from Energetics, so actually Energetics is on to maybe keep that third place as it stands. He's only a couple of attempts outside of that, as I think Luke's going to go straight up the inside of Rocco now. As soon as he got up to the back of him, he's straight through. It's a great move from Luke.
Yeah, Luke not wasting any time whatsoever. Just absolutely using his soft tyres to the maximum of his ability, and he's going to get a cannonball here as well. Down the inside, job done. Luke up into fourth, and probably within the rest of this lap and about half of the next lap, he'll probably be on the back of these guys ahead of him.
Yeah, and the medium runners should be a bit slower than these guys in anyway. Well, the soft tyres have kind of fallen off at this point. 16 laps is where you would expect, well, probably a lot further down the cliff. But Luke, obviously with the fresh tyres, it should be quite easy for him to catch up. The only thing that might cause him any difficulty is on the straights with the DRS, but in the corners, the middle sector, he's going to fly up to the back of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm currently on board with Killer Blue, who is closing in on the back of Rick for 7th place, and obviously, as you said, with those soft runners starting to drop back off the pack, this could be an opportunity for both Rick and Killer to close up and potentially snag themselves a top 5 finisher.
Yeah, they've been very calculated about this race. Obviously, Killer Blue had his moment down at the final corner, cost him a lot of time. He's back in the fold now, but Rick's gone about his race he's been very calm, calculated in where he positions his car, what his battle has been, and he hasn't really got into anything today, and it's this time of the race where he's probably got some tyre life left. He'll just push and he'll put himself back in the mix again.
Yeah, absolutely, and for these guys now, yeah, Campbell and Rocco, they can't afford to pit now, I don't think. They might be forced to, because there's like another 10 laps to go, but for them, they will come out very much on their own down in 14th place, as Larkin and Energetics have a bit of a battle, as Rocco and Campbell also having a battle. Killer Blue getting through on Rick for 7th place, and he's just outside that 3-second time penalty window to Campbell, as Dylan and Waluigi trade places for P9.
This is interesting. Luke going up the inside of turn 5. Energetics went very deep and very late into to turn 4 around the outside, but I think it wasn't as much trying to overtake Larkin. It was more looking behind him and seeing Luke was up his inside, so he broke very late. Luke got the run out the corner and is straight up the inside of turn 5, makes the move stick, and now he's right on the back of Larkin to try and get back up into the lead at some point in this race.
Yeah, he's gonna use those soft tyres, and if he's gonna make a move, he'll probably go for it into the final corner, knowing that both will have DRS anyway. But he isn't gonna be close enough, so he'll definitely lock into turn 1. If that doesn't work, turn 4, and he might even try it in sector 2 in a place that we wouldn't really expect. But nope, here we go. DRS wide open. Larkin in the slipstream of Brent. Brent moving over to cover Larkin, and Luke's going to try for 2 for 1. 3 wide into turn 1 between these guys. They somehow give each other the space. Fair play to them. But that is Luke now into the lead. And here goes Larkin down the inside of Brent. Brent's able to hold it.
Great battling. The inevitable kind of happened. We did expect Luke to get back through, but I didn't expect Larkin to quite have that straight line speed down the straight and try and put a move on Brent. I felt Brent was probably safe from
DRS
that battle for a corner. Yeah, I thought Brent was probably safe from that until from any overtakes until down at turn 4, but just the straight line speed with the DRS is just so powerful, it seems. And yeah, Luke gets 2 in 1.
Yep, you got a buy one get one free offer, 2 for 1 deal. Now looking at the another interesting battle that we can see brewing very shortly. Killer is just outside of DRS range of Campbell, who is only half a second behind Rocco. You see these guys have dropped off massively now from the top 4, but if Killer can get through these two pretty sharpish, he does have an opportunity to maybe try and get within Energetics' time penalty, because these guys are battling. And you goes Energetics looking down the inside of both Brent and Larkin. Brent holds on, but Energetics does get the move done on Larkin. And now he's going to look around the outside of Brent. They're going to be side by side. Energetics stay ahead of Brent here, and he is going to stay ahead. But yeah, the more these guys battle, because they are battling tooth and nail. If Killer can get through on Rocco and Campbell as soon as possible, he's going to be able to close up to Larkin, Brent and Energetics and try and get himself in this fight, perhaps.
Yeah, and he's gained massively. He's only 3 tenths behind, and I think he started the start of the lap. He was about 7-8 tenths behind. So the straight line speed he's got is ridiculous. He just needs to get a run somewhere, and if he can get past Rocco, the next move should be pretty easy. It's Montana had made a move on Nolan down the straight into turn 11. So Montana up into 11th place with the soft tyres, and actually he could well be on for a top 10 finish here.
I think he will be, because let's be fair, it's another 8 laps that these soft tyres got to go for Campbell and Rocco to get to the end. And here comes Killer now with that OP straight line speed that he has as Brent and Energetics trade positions. Killer gets through on Rocco, and up into 6th place goes the Alpine, and now he's going to look at the back of QVR Campbell. As once again Energetics and Brent having a big ding dong battle going on for 2nd place on track. Larkin, he's just waiting for someone to make a mistake, isn't he?
Yeah, he's kind of just keeping his nose out of things now. He knows Energetics has got the penalty, but at the same time 2nd place is there if he can get past Brent. So but yeah, at the moment with Energetics between them, it's not really worth doing anything. If Energetics does get past, then you look at him trying to pounce on that. But we have Killer Blue making a move on Campbell for P5. Campbell had the penalty anyway, but Killer Blue now up ahead of these guys and can push to try and get within the 3 seconds of Energetics. That would be P4 for him. So a very good recovery after a spin just before the pit stops. And
an argument could be made now. Killer possibly could have won this race without that disconnect after the spin.
Yeah, he definitely has the pace and the straight line speed, which is very key around here to hold on to positions. So, is that the yellow flags? No, that's behind. That is Rick at the final corner. So he's just lit it up out of the final corner, and he's got front wing damage. So that will be a pit stop for Rick.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And a 5 second speeding penalty as well. Rick has had an absolute mare. He was looking so good as well. I think he would both, along with Killer, he would have got Rocco and Campbell, and possibly could have got themselves further up the order. But we'll have to wait to see. Killer doesn't appear to be bringing the times down rapidly right now.
Yeah, he's not really closing that gap, is he? And I mean, I think he has a very low downforce setup, so maybe it's just the middle sector he's going to struggle. But and his tyres are slightly older than some of the guys that he's trying to catch, so it's going to be difficult for him. But if he can do it, it's such a payoff. But he's already done really well to get back up into 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's be fair, it's a good result for the Alpine team here with Larkin staring at a podium and Killer with a top 5 finish.
Yeah, and Larkin's got to get a good result, but the problem Larkin's got right now is he's just not close enough to Brent to have really enough of a slipstream to get one of the cars. Brent's only just close enough to get energetics, so he's just kind of caught in no man's land behind these guys. Can't really do anything.
I think you're not seeing what he's doing.
Is he saving ERS?
Yes, he is. He knows these two are battling tooth and nail, and he's not going to lose that much by not using it.
Right. Okay. So we're looking at that 57 then, really.
Yeah, he's on 50% compared to Energetics and Brent, who are just under 20.
Right. Okay. That completely changes everything. I did not see that.
Yeah. See, you got luck. Larkin just chilling in behind right now. We see what he's doing. Killer has broken DRS now to Campbell, so we're expecting the two soft rounds to drop further back into the clutches of Noel, Luigi and Dylan. Could Montana catch him? That's the question.
Oh, it's gonna be tough. He's been stuck in the battle with Nolan and now Verstappen and actually Eustace have caught up to the back of this, so you might have to watch out behind him. His teammate's not that far behind him, but as Energetics goes very deep into turn 1, and Brent's gonna have a great run down into turn 4. They're gonna fight this so hard into turn 4. Energetics still there on the outside, so this is so close, and I think Ferrari might just get through here, and he does. So Brent back up into second.
No, Energetics going to try it back again around the outside. Larkin is just
ridiculous.
He's just loving life right now, Larkin is.
There goes Rick, sets the fastest lap, and Montana is overtaken by Nolan again. So they're just switching places for fun right now.
Yep. You look at. It's never Ibo. Yellow flags are not Ibo. You can't go saying. Why are you telling the people lies for? It's never Ibo.
He was being very respectful.
Ibo never gets yellow flags. The perfect driver.
He was being a perfect gentleman and letting people through.
Here we go again. Energetics in the slipstream of Brent. It's going to be once again an easy DRS overtake. He's going to move to the inside though. Energetics and Larkin. He's just chilling there at the moment. He knows he's got the ERS advantage. He sees the red light flashing on both of their cars.
Problem he's got though is he's leaving it a bit too late. He's danger down the straights of falling out of the DRS, and then he's running out of laps. He's got probably 4 more chances to do anything. But the longer he leaves it, the harder it's going to be. So he needs to
Nolan
start thinking
Montana.
about it now.
A bit of contact between Nolan and Montana. They are fighting out there on track. As Montana gets ahead of Nolan. Nolan did not want to give up that fight with Montana.
Robbing is racing, they say. They just proved that. I don't know what Nolan will think of that, but they have proved it as.
Don't say it. Don't say it. It's Nine. It's Nine.
No, I wasn't going to say it. But we now have. I was going to say we now have Brent on the back of Energetics. We've had Brent on the back of Energetics, and vice versa. We're going on to lap 55 now, so 3 laps left, including this one. And Brent's going to go for it yet again, I think, as we come down the straight. He's got less DRS and ERS
No.
than energetics, and actually he can't get quite close enough.
Now this is the time for Larkin to use his ERS.
He's on 60%. He needs to use it very soon, but he's not using it now. He's just waiting for the perfect opportunity.
And Rocco having a bit of a battle. Luigi gets through and up into 7th place, and he should get past Campbell pretty soon as well. And yep, down the inside, easy as you like. And Rocco letting his teammate Dylan go as well, so Dylan immediately now up into 8th. He's going to look at the back of Campbell pretty soon, as Verstappen managed to get through on both Nolan and Montana. And
that was very close from Montana on the exit of that corner. Verstappen went in a bit deeper. Nolan went for a cutback, and Montana clips the back of Nolan.
And there we go, Larkin's through on energetics.
Yeah. There we go. That is an important move. Now he needs to get on the back of Brent. If he can get on the back of Brent, he's got a very good chance of getting second. But he's actually falling outside of a second now. So
yeah, but he's got
to use all the ERS
back.
he's got. And there we go. He's back. He's back within a second. So he needs to get back up to the back of Brent, and he's got a real chance of getting this second place now.
Yep, and Brent on less than 10%. He's going to lose out massively on the DRS straight and the run into turn 4. Larkin may have just played this to absolute perfection.
Yeah, and he's not even used his ERS down that pit straight, so he's still saving some for the final lap when he really has to go for it. If he can just stay on the back of Brent now, and when it comes to the back of the circuit, the front of the circuit next time.
Nolan and Verstappen side by side in turn 1 and 2. Verstappen holds on. I mean, even though Nolan technically with that penalty is out of this battle for 10th place, he definitely wants to put on a show and have a bit of a scrap with these lads. He wants to make them work for it, which I mean, you got to respect.
Yeah, and it's making some great viewing. Him, Montana and Verstappen are right at each other, to be honest. Elbows out, as far as they possibly can be. And respectful. Is that the right word? They're being respectful just by making contact.
Here we go now. Final lap of the race. Luke is on the final lap. Now Larkin using absolutely everything. Here we go. Look at the overspeed. He's going to have him now into turn 1. Aegis are like Larkin into second place, but Brent outbreaks himself to try and go around the outside. He can't get the move done though. And now Larkin, he's got to use his ERS to pull clear of the Ferrari, and there's the red light flashing. So now is a question of, can Brent get a good enough run on Larkin anyway to really put him under pressure here as we go into the S's. Larkin's going to try and pull away, and he has built a bit of a gap there as Larkin just pulled off a masterclass as he just educated both Brent and Energetics here.
Yeah, and I think he's just played that to perfection, just being patient. I queried it myself, but he's done he's just played it to absolutely perfectly, and I don't think Brent's going to quite have enough. He's so low on his ERS, and there's not going to be another DRS straight, so he's going to have to find it even into turn 13.
It's going to be a final corner.
Or into the final corner, and that's also risky. But we got the drag race down to the final corner,
and Luke
crosses the line to win the inaugural race.
Killer Blue's around.
No.
Luigi into the top 5, and Larkin is going to hold on and take second place. Brent will come over in third, Energetics in fourth. Luigi will come over in fifth. Dylan's right on the back of Killer Blue, so Killer Blue loses out one spot there, but it could have been top 5 for Killer Blue there. Could have been.
It's unfortunate on the final lap. But at least it's only, well, actually with the penalties.
Oh my god, look how close that was. With Campbell and Montana.
Wow. Montana into the top 10.
Yeah, and there's a tenth of a second separating Killer to Campbell.
Wow. Yeah, Killer Blue actually lost out a lot of positions because of penalties in the end, so it was a lot more costly than I thought it was going to be.
Did Killer even have penalties?
I don't know, but he has dropped down.
I don't think Killer had penalties. Hang on, let me...
Did he? Actually, no, he hasn't, so I don't know why... that's bizarre.
Killer has been robbed.
Oh, and there we go. Victory donuts from Ibo.
Oh yes, you'd love to see it.
Victory donuts.
Let me give him the broadcast camera. You'll show the respect that he deserves.
He is an absolute showman.
He's finished them. We jumped onto it too late.
He just is he's just a brilliant entertainer. He knows exactly what the people want.
Some people are just built different, you know. Rocco gets the in-game driver of the day. But let me ask you guys in the chat, and of course yourself, RJ, who is your driver of the day?
Very, very tough to say, actually. I think Luke was just so dominant, actually, after the first safety car, really. After the second safety car, once he got past energetics, he just ran away with this race. So I'm going to be boring and say that man right there, Luke in the McLaren.
Well, I mean, yeah, Luke didn't put a foot wrong. However, I do have to give it to the man who just completely outplayed Energetics and Brent to get that second place. And Larkin, the mind games, it just shows, and you know that is the difference between them. But we'll run you through the orders. It is Luke that takes victory here, ahead of Larkin in second place, Brent rounding out the podium with Energetics in fourth place. Luigi comes home in fifth, Dylan in sixth, Rocco seventh, Verstappen in eighth, Killer Blue, who didn't have a penalty but has dropped down 3 positions somehow, in ninth, Montana in 10th, and then Campbell in 11th, Nolan in 12th, Justas in 13th, Marty in 14th, Rick in 15th, Car Mentalist 16th, 17th for Ibo, and now non-finishers were Passe, Foul Fury, and Old School 3000. And I hope you send in the invites to the top 3.
I'm on it.
Lovely stuff. Just quickly gonna wait to see who picked up fastest lap as well, because I did not catch on the first time. It went a bit too quick.
Rick. I think it was Rick.
We shall wait and see. As yes, it was Rick. I'm just gonna add them a sec to see if they want to join.
Yep.
Alright, so Brent unfortunately won't be. So we'll wait to see. We do have our race winner in, which is fantastic. We'll wait to see if Larkin joins.
Larkin's here.
Oh, he's already here. Oh,
yep.
Fantastic. Lads, absolutely fantastic race out there today. Obviously, we'll start with our race winner, Luke. How was that for you? But a lot of ups and downs. How was it for you out there?
It was good. Had a good pace. The game nearly ruined me on the second safety car because my plan was to go to softs with like 20 laps to go, and my MFD froze, so I couldn't change anything. So I had to go on softs under the safety car when I wanted to change to mediums, but managed to get the gap to after a lot of battling behind.
Yeah, it's called after getting ahead of Energetics and everyone, you just cruised off into the distance, and obviously making that late pit stop again. Was you at all nervous of everyone getting their elbows out a bit too much for you?
I didn't know like how aggressive they were going to be because I could see they were battling quite hard. So I did have to play it a little bit cautious to begin with, but I had fresher tyres, so it was quite easy to get the traction down compared to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I'm struggling to think of anything else like the six. It was after you got ahead on that second safety car, nothing really happened for you. You just cruising away.
Quite boring.
Probably the one other question I'll ask. Obviously, 100% race. How was it just trying to keep the concentration for that amount of time?
It wasn't too bad. I think at a different track, which I don't like so much, it might be a bit more difficult, but I like Bahrain, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, so 60 big points in the bag for you on the first race. Great start as well. You're going to be looking forward to the next one?
Yeah.
Right, happy days. RJ, you got any questions?
I was just wondering, because you used the soft tyres twice at the end, how bad was the drop off on the soft tyres? Because we saw Killer Blue at the start, he did about 22, 23 laps, and the pace looked alright. I thought the drop off would have been a bit more than that.
I think the drop off, like, it would have happened on the first set. The drop off would have happened like a couple of laps after I pitted, so I basically just pitted at the right time.
Right.
Yeah, that, or have you got any other questions?
No, that's all. That's all from me.
Okay, well, obviously, congratulations on the win, mate. You go and enjoy your evening.
See you.
Alright, and moving on to the man who finished in second, and it was a very exciting race to the end there for you, Larkin. How was that for you out there?
Yeah, it was really, really enjoyable. I loved that. I think the sort of dynamic of having people in realistic cars, obviously cars that are better in a straight line, cars that are better through the corners, drivers that are maybe used to driving in lower divisions of our normal leagues against people that are racing in the higher divisions, just made it so exciting. Like the fact that I was with Brent and Energetics for, I think, most of that 100% race is crazy. But yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah, and you also kind of educated them a little bit. Obviously, with a few laps to go, so you're dropping off a little bit, just trying to save that ERS up, and you picked the perfect time, the perfect opportunity to start using it to get the job done, to get up into second. And obviously, while you were just sitting behind, you saw how hard they were battling. Did you think at any moment like an opportunity might not open up for you like that?
I mean, no, I was pretty confident that I'd have the chance. I knew Energetics had the time penalty, so that made things quite a lot easier. And I mean, even though they were battling going down the straights, I could see both of their red lights flashing most of the time as well. So I knew that they were really struggling. I knew that I had the straight line speed as well because I was running lower wings than I think both of them were. So it was just a case of biding my time, waiting for a couple of laps to go, just to gun it, and it went perfectly.
That it did, and of course, obviously you was right in the thick of it for most of it. I mean, you mentioned about how enjoyable it is to see some of the drivers from the lower divisions also battling at the top end. Were you surprised with how many times the safety car and yellow flags kept coming out with people spinning it? Obviously with the new patch and everything.
Yeah, I wasn't really surprised, to be honest. Obviously, with it being the amount of laps that it was, it's fairly likely that people are going to crash. So only having a couple of safety cars was pretty expected. The first one came out at quite an annoying time for me because I was in that lead group. But I mean, it is what it is. It's good that we've just driven 50 whatever laps of Bahrain, and there were 16 people I think that finished it. Having a point for every lap you complete, I think, is a bit of an incentive for people not to retire in the pits, and we've got a good group of drivers as well that are on the grid. And yeah, it just made it all like a much better spectacle, I think.
Yep, that it did, and of course, next race, I just had to quickly get the calendar up, is of course China, and that's a completely different prospect. Bahrain, are you kind of hoping same levels of top quality racing that we saw tonight in China?
I hope so. Obviously, I think there'll be a little bit of moving around in terms of who's in what cars, getting Luke out of that McLaren. There might be a couple of people who aren't racing, so we'll have some different people on the grid. But if it's anything like that, then it will be really, really good.
Okay, RJ, you got any questions, mate?
No, I just wanted to say well done. Great drive, to be honest. There was a bit of the race where I was like, "Come on, you gotta go for this move at some point." But no, you played it to perfection in the well done on the P2.
Thank you very much. I'm quite boring in that. I'll happily sit. I'll sit in DRS for 15 laps if I need to, if it gets me one position at the end.
Yeah, and obviously, I think what you've done is a nice little bit of education for Brent and Energetics. You played that to absolute perfection and rewarded with a P2, and massive congratulations to you for that. And of course to Luke, who has left the party now for taking the inaugural win here in the Endure Championship. And very long stream, and I don't know about you, RJ. I think it's that time where we bring it to an end.
Yep.
So thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. Obviously, we will be back on the 10th of November for round number 2 in China for the Shanghai International Circuit. But until next time, guys, I've been Mike, he's been RJW, and we will catch you in the next race. Good night.